Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review today, where I look at the Neca Saw Ultimate Jigsaw figure, and this is the second version. This is one with the black robe. This is currently available at Walmart.com, and I think it's a timed exclusive, first available at Walmart, and then available elsewhere. So let's take a look at the packaging. And as you can see at the top, how much blood would you shed to stay alive? Saw Ultimate Jigsaw. Here's the reverse bear trap on the front. One side we have Billy the Puppet, Saw Ultimate Jigsaw by Neca. Other side we have John Kramer. At the back you can see a bunch of different display options, different heads, different accessories, Saw. At the bottom there is a barcode, in case that helps anybody. This is one of Neca's Ultimate figures. Window box packaging. You can hear the Velcro as I open it up. On the inside flap, we have Jigsaw and his puppet. And then here's the figure with all of his accessories. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that I get this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He comes with the same stuff as the red rope Jigsaw. We have his doll Billy, his little puppet, and the tricycle. He's got a tape recorder to leave for his victims. 3 alternate hands, totaling 5 interchangeable hands. A total of 3 heads. The reverse bear trap. And then a blade for his wrist. Before we take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is Jigsaw from the Saw films, at least the first few. John Kramer is his real name, and he's played by Tobin Bell. He basically takes people that don't appreciate their life, put them into these life-threatening traps, and if they're willing to work hard enough, they can escape and possibly live a different lifestyle. He's dying of cancer. I believe he lost his wife. All kind of things that makes him sort of despise people that don't appreciate life. Long story short, he's batshit crazy. Hell, he could even be a Batman villain with this weird sort of gimmick. So let's take a look. So this is the proper color robe, at least for the original appearances. Black robe with red trim. The previous one was a pure red robe, which is accurate to, I don't know, one of his appearances, I believe. Although when I see that, I kind of think I want to put that on a female figure and use it as Amanda. So he's got a black hood. It does go up and down, and it has a cloth wire in it. He's got kind of white hair, a little bit in disarray. The likeness is freaking excellent. Looks really good, like Tobin Bell. Kind of has a hint of, I don't know, Christopher Walken in it too. Like I said, the hood has a wire in it, and the robe does as well. One here, a little Velcro, open it up, and one here. This is how he looks under the wire. Totally black outfit. Looks a lot better than how he looked with the other one, but we'll compare that out in the rest of the video. Looks like single jointed knees. I'm going to guess double jointed elbows. Jigsaw. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. Like I said, I think the likeness is spot on. Neca's sculptor and their paint job is excellent on this figure. And here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out the accessories. Let's start off with his hands. He has a total of 5 hands, 3 right hands, and 2 left hands. Here he is, with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And then his second pair of hands. This is a pair of open hands. And he has 1 additional right hand. I believe this one can grip the cassette player. Now to take a look at his heads. He has 3 of them. One is a healthy John Kramer head. One is a sickly, cancer, bald John Kramer head. And then one is him wearing the pig mask. The pig mask is a creepy mask he puts on when he wants to capture his victims, or he'll have other people wear it to capture victims and bring them to him. Now, Neca made a Jigsaw figure, I don't know, better part 20 years ago, and I have that one. I have the version with the pig head. There was a pig head and an unmasked head. I'll tell you, the pig head is a new sculpt from the old one. Similar, but definitely new sculpt. And I would assume the John Kramer heads are too, although I don't have it in hand to say that for certain. Here's a look at his first head. This is the healthy John Kramer head. Here's his second head. This one is the thinner, sick, bald, cancer victim John Kramer head. And here's his third head. This is him wearing the pig mask. Here's the old Neca version. This is from the Cult Classics line. You can see the head, it's similar, but a little bit different. The new one has a better sculpt. The ears are positioned differently, the hair, etc. Here's his wrist blade. Little silver blade. Take his hand off. put his hand back in with this around it. Here's John Kramer using that wrist blade, not for the cassette player. In a bunch of the movies, mainly the first one, he left cassette player with instructions on how to get out of the trap. It's a pretty small accessory, but definitely relevant for a Saw figure. Detailing is decent. It's mainly just a little sticker there, but you know what it is. And here's Jigsaw holding onto that tape recorder. Here's the reverse bear trap that he got Amanda with, and some other people later in the franchise. It looks sort of old, sort of rusty, homemade. Now, a bear trap is a trap that opens up like so, and then shuts on an animal's leg. This is the opposite. This is already shut. It's going to go around your mouth, and it'll rip it open if you don't get it off in time. It's made of one solid piece, no articulation. I was hoping it would open up. So you just slide it over to a figure's head, and bam, you have somebody trapped. Now, it can't fit on every single action figure head out there. I have a little bit of trouble putting it onto this John Kramer head because the hair. I mean, you can kind of sort of force it on there. But if you have a head a little bit smoother at the top, for example, his bald head, it'll fit on there just fine. Now let's look at his puppet, Billy. It comes with a tricycle. It's this weird, sort of creepy puppet that would come out and explain the different scenarios of the games. If you look at his face here, he's in sort of a suit. He's got these spiral things on either one of his cheeks. Creepy red eyes, white face. He's got hands that'll grip on the handlebars of the tricycle here. And he has a little bit of articulation. The head can rotate around, ball joint. Shoulders also on a ball joint. His wrists are sort of on a peg. They have a pretty good amount of give going on to them. His legs also on a ball joint. Nothing in the knees here. And his ankles, they can go forward and back. He can't actually sit on and grip the handlebars of the tricycle like so. I now have 3 different versions of the Billy puppet. One from the new black Robe saw, one from the previous red Robe saw, and then one from the version about 20 years ago with the pig head. I like these guys. They're cool, they're creepy, and they're a nice little background unit in my Joker shelf. And finally, we have his robe. It's red on the inside, predominantly black on the out. This is what I remember it looking like in the first Saw film. It's got red trim all around it, including the sleeves. It's got a hood, bendy wire on the hood, bendy wire on the 2 parts of the front of the robe, and then Velcro to hold it shut. Here are the 2 different versions of the robe next to each other. This is what I remember Jigsaw wearing, and I feel like this is what Amanda wore when she became his sort of assistant. Here's Jigsaw here, without the robe on, and then here, with the robe attached. Now I wanted to check out the differences in reuse between this black robe version of Jigsaw and the red robe version. Here they are, both wearing the robes. Everything is exactly the same except for the color robe and some of the paint job on the figure. And then here are both the Kramer figures with their robes removed. It's exactly the same figure, except this one has an all-black outfit. This one has a black outfit with a red shirt. And I think this one looks pretty stupid, because it has a red shirt with black sleeves. Doesn't make a lot of sense. I guess it's just so you can see this top part here peeking out of the red robe and it won't look weird. But I kind of like this, and this just looks kind of dumb. So I thought to myself, what can I do with this red robe version? I don't really need 2 different John Kramer figures. At first I thought, one will have the John Kramer head, and one will have the pig head. But I even have the old one with the pig head. So I thought, what can I do to make sort of an Amanda figure? Take this red robe, put it on a 7-inch scale female figure, and it would pretty much work as is. So when I was looking at Amanda from the film, in her original appearance when she was captured, she had sort of a grunge, punk type look. So I took this Marvel Legends figure. That's what I kind of used for her with a trap on. But she's way too short compared to Kramer. So I just took another Neca female figure out of my collection, and it doesn't look like Amanda at all. But put the robe on, and let's see. Put the robe on, it covers up the outfit, and even the haircut that's not accurate to Amanda. And at least for now, until I find something better, I think I'm going to use this as an Amanda figure next to my John Kramer as 2 different jigsaws. And this is how I plan to display these 3 figures, at least for the time being. One with the pig head on, one with the John Kramer head on, and one as a sort of figure substitute as Amanda. and I'll try to work on that and make that a little better over time. In turn, could put the pig heads on all three of these guys and have a little sort of cult of pig murderers. Just a lot of different options here. Could be pretty cool. Now that I've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing at about 7.1 inches tall, which can translate to around 18 centimeters. And for his articulation, starting with his head, of course, he can rotate from side to side. He can look up and down quite a bit. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes out more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got double jointed elbows with that sort of unique Neca style double joints where it has the bicep, a separate piece for between the forearm and the bicep, and I never think it looks that good. Goes up all the way. There's rotation both at the top and rotation at the bottom. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged. In his torso, he has a ball joint, rotate around, forward and back. Another one is waist, rotate around, forward and back. Legs, complete of splits, ball joints. He can rotate independently against the ball. Then go forward about that far, back not much. Single jointed knee with rotation. And then the ankle, forward and back just a tiniest bit, rotate, and then tilt rock as well. Amanda wakes up, the newest victim of Jigsaw. She has a reverse bear trap around her head, very confused, doesn't understand what's going on. Then, a little video of the puppet comes on, saying,
"Hello, Amanda. You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game."
She scrambles to escape, finally gets out of the chair. He gave her very specific instructions. If she wanted to live, she had to get the key out of her dead cellmate's stomach. There's a man lying on the floor, knife next to him, and as she starts to cut into him, she realizes he's not dead. But she does get the key, gets the bear trap off, just in the nick of time as it goes off right when she takes it off. At that point, she appreciated her life more. She was a drug addict, wasting her life away. After this, she actually ended up helping John Kramer. Here's a look at John Kramer setting up his trap with Amanda. Here's a look at Jigsaw and his assistants or helpers. They have two victims in reverse bear traps. Will they escape? Now let's check them out. Next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Saw figures. Here's this new version of Jigsaw with the appropriate black robe, and then next to the red robe version. Now, if I just were to pick one of these figures, it would definitely be the black robe version. And of course, I could put the red one out first, so people would buy that, thinking that's all they're making, and then they come out with a better version, thus causing you to get two of them. Now, I still would have bought both of them, but if you want just one of them, I'd wait for the wide release on the black robe version. And then here he is, next to Amanda in the robe. Then, next to the older Neca version with the pig head. They made two versions back then, one with the pig head, and one with the unmasked head. I only wanted the pig head one, as I thought that was a creepier, better look. This guy has very little articulation, decent detail. I'm glad they actually made an ultimate version of Jigsaw instead of simply re-releasing him like they did with some other recent figures. House of 1,000 Corpses, Hannibal Lecter, Assassin's Creed, without upgrading those figures at all. In my other Jigsaw video, somebody suggested that I put this Tobin Bell figure next to a Christopher Walken figure. They have a kind of similar look to him. Here he is next to the Dune 2 Christopher Walken character. Closer look at their two faces. I can definitely see some resemblance to each other, at least some hints. I thought with the pig heads, they could work for some good henchmen for Professor Pig, which is an obscure Batman villain. Here they are next to the DC Direct Arkham Knight Professor Pig. And then next to this comic version, custom Professor Pig that I have. I thought the red robe version could make a great base if you want to make a custom Batman villain, the Mad Monk. He's an old school Batman villain from like the 40s. This is my custom version of him, and you can see why I said this would make a great base. Now let's check him out. Next to some other Neca horror figures. Here he is, next to some old school Universal monster figures. Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, and the Mummy. And here he is, with some more modern horror icons. Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, and Leatherface. And you know what? Take that extra pig head, put it on to Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you have an easy Professor Pig custom. Sure, the head does not look like Professor Pig from the comics, but kind of looks like a dark, scary pig serial killer, which is essentially what he is. And now let's check him out next to some other recent NECA horror releases that I've gotten. Here he is, next to some re-releases. This is the Prison Escape Hannibal Lecter, and then Otis and Kevin Spaulding from House of a Thousand Corpses. And here, with some more recent NECA horror figures, Nosferatu, John Carver from Thanksgiving, and Professor Berg from London After Midnight. I also recently got the black and white versions of the Ninja Turtles, crossover with Universal Monsters, Leonardo as Hunchback of Notre Dame, and the Raphael as the Wolfman. Now let's check them out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a NECA toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his NECA brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from NECA toys, all 7-inch scale. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some DST or Diamond Select toys, here's Jigsaw, next to an actual Jigsaw puzzle. And here he is, with some McFarlane toys and DC Direct figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, with some SH figure arts and some Jazzwares 4-day figures. So overall, it's a very nice Saw figure. The accessories are fantastic. I'm surprised he doesn't come in an actual Saw, even though John Kramer here didn't really handle the Saw in the films. But the likeness is fantastic. I love the reverse bear trap, and I was kind of disappointed it wasn't articulated, wasn't hinged. I do understand if it was hard plastic and had articulation, it would be much more likely to break. It's kind of a little bit rubbery, has some give to it, so you can fit over the action figure heads and not worry about breaking it. His articulation is pretty good. Everything you expect from a NECA Ultimate figure. Sculpt paint job, excellent. I like the way this one looks with the robe off and the robe on. The other one looked stupid with the robe off. If I were to rate this figure, I don't remember what I rated the other one, but this one did an excellent job. They could have been lazy like they've done with some other recent figures and just re-released the previous Jigsaw, but they didn't. They gave this the true Ultimate treatment. And those heads of John Kramer just look so good. I think this guy's worthy of an 8 out of 10. I'm really enjoying him. I really like the black robe version. It's visually much better on my eyes and I associate with Saw much more than the red robe version. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.